Lord. Hello. Welcome to a vlog that we didn't anticipate would be happening on this channel. But I have somehow decided this is what I want to do, so we're gonna do it. Hello. I'm gonna try really hard to do a reading vlog. Now, listen, I know what you're thinking. I know you're probably like, why are you doing that? Well, listen, this is a very special reading vlog. It's actually not very special. This is a reading vlog series that I really wanted to do for a long time. And I just had a lot of things happen in life where I wasn't able to do them. And I finally have decided that I've separated myself enough from all these like things that kind of like persuaded me out of doing this, that I'm now at a point where I'm ready to try this and see if I can actually read these books and enjoy them. So, hello, we are doing a Stephen King reading vlog. I know that it's probably very shocking to hear me say this after I've multiple times said that I'm not like the hugest fan of Stephen King anymore. And Kate's literally pulling into our driveway right now. And yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Stephen King anymore. And I'm hoping that by doing this vlog and reading this book, specifically The Long Walk by Stephen King, that will give me a little bit of like a jump to find out if it's really that I don't like his books, or if I was just persuaded to not like his books by, you know, like other sources in my life. Let me text Kate so she knows I'm filming a clip. So yeah, I've read The Long Walk before. This book is like the Hunger Games, basically. There are 100 people going on a long walk, and the only way to win is like when one person is left. So it's like a thrillery kind of thing. So it's not like a horror in like the traditional sense. And I've read this before and I didn't love it. I read it physically and I was like just kind of okay with it, and I wasn't like crazy about it, and I honestly really didn't like it as much at all, and I unhauled my copy. And I don't remember why I didn't like it. I think it's just because like I was reading it physically, and I had hit a point where I just didn't like reading physically anymore. And I mean, you know the drill with that. So I'm giving this another chance just to see kind of like how I feel now and what I am going to feel going forward, you know, just the works, right? Yeah, we are following a main character whose name I don't know off the top of my head, and he is joining the Long Walk. The Long Walk, I'm pretty sure the winner of the Long Walk gets like whatever their heart desires. And the only way to win is for everyone else to die. So I have started The Long Walk. I'm listening to it on audiobook this time, hoping for the best. Fingers crossed I enjoy it this time. And surprisingly enough, I'm already 25% through the book, and I'm happy to report that we are doing much better this time. And I think that this is a good sign. So I have 8 hours left of the audiobook. Hopefully this will go the way I want it to, because I really want to love this book, and I really want to try to like, I want to enjoy it. Like, I want to love Stephen King, because the feeling that I've gotten from some of his books before is like my favorite feeling I've ever had. So like, I want to get back to a place where Stephen King is like one of my favorite authors. And I mean, there are going to be books that I just cannot handle from him. And like, that's any author, like that's going to be with any author you pick up. I will say there are some racist undertones in this book already, which is very unfortunate and very frustrating. That was one of the main issues that I've had with Stephen King in the past. Like, he does use the N-word, which I wish he would stop doing that. And then sometimes his books are just like very overly written, and I don't understand why. But specifically this one, The Long Walk, there have been comments. The N-word was used, and then they describe a black person in a negative way. They describe their skin as like blue, almost like so black it's blue or something like that. And I was like, that's fucking weird. So yeah, like, just know that going in, there is some racist shit in here. And I've also hit a point too where I'm like, can I read things that are problematic while also acknowledging that they're problematic and kind of like going from there? So that's what we're doing. I'm going to finish listening to my book. Well, I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to like listen to some more of it, and we'll regroup. I have a lot of things I have to do this weekend, so I don't know how much like physical reading I'll do. Probably none, because I'm listening to the audiobook, which makes 0 sense for me as I'm physically reading. But I have household chores that I need to do. I want to clean my room, and well, I started cleaning my room, so I want to finish cleaning it. I'd like to organize my bookshelves, which probably won't happen this weekend. And then I have some driving time because I've got to go to a session. So, I mean, I should have some time to get a good chunk of the way through this, but I can't guarantee that I'm going to get through the entire thing. I think that 8 hours is actually more like 4 hours of actual listening time, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll find out. So, welcome to the vlog. Welcome to me trying to give Stephen King a second chance. I'm hopeful, very hopeful, high hopes that this is going to go well. I really want to love his books. And, oh, Kate's calling me, so I'm going to go. But yeah, I really want to love his books. I realized I haven't updated you at all on how my book's going. So I'm about 50% through The Long Walk, which it's like 5 hours in is where I'm at, and it says I'm 49% through it, so like basically 50%. The first quarter to, so like the first 25 to 40-ish% was like super gripping, super compelling, and I remember what happens. Like I remember the ending of this, so it was really interesting, kind of like getting compelled and gripped to read the story just based upon like me already knowing what's going on, me already knowing who's gonna win. I really do think that I've been in a weird spot, and I've like put myself in a weird place when it comes to reading. And the time when I was reading this, I was very much, I like had specific goals for myself, and I wasn't really letting myself read what I wanted to. I was more of like reading for content, and I think that's part of the problem. So when I was reading this before, I was like reading it as one of my content pillars, and one of the things that I would do on my channel was I would talk about Stephen King books, and I like Stephen King a lot, obviously. And then like I fell apart with him, and like it was a whole thing. I just want to listen to my book. I don't want to tell you about it right now. So like, I mean, I think that tells me that we're good. We're doing good. Like this is a good experiment. We're doing fantastic, because I don't want to stop reading to give you an update, but like I also want to give you an update to tell you how it's going. So here's the update. I'm enjoying it a lot. I really think that my issues that I've had with Stephen King, specifically this book, would have been solved if I'd listened to the audiobook. I feel like there are some books that you read that are just strictly audiobooks. Like they need to just be told as audiobooks, and it's just more enjoyable. And then there are books that you read physically, and they are as enjoyable as the audiobook is. So this is one where I find that I'm just not gripped if it's not being told to me. Like physically reading that was just like a trip I didn't want to go down. So I think that's the problem with this one. I will say I'm not going to include spoilers yet. That'll be at the end of the video. But I want to also say that King doesn't make it obvious who's going to win. And even now, me like knowing who's going to win, I'm trying to piece it together, and I'm not getting any hints of foreshadowing of who's going to win the walk. Like there's no there's nothing really saying this is who's going to win, you know? So I feel like he did a really good job with that too. So that's my thoughts, that's my opinions. I'm gonna finish eating my lunch now. So, and I'm gonna keep listening to my book. So maybe I'll have another update for you before I go back from my lunch. But yeah, I'm hoping that I will finish this. Ideally, I would like to finish this today, but I have a meeting at work today, so probably won't do that, because I've got 5 hours and 30 minutes left, so that's 2.5 hours. Is that 2.5 hours? 2 hours and like 30 minutes or something like that? That's not right. 2 hours and 15 minutes. I don't know if I'll have time to do that today, because I have like a really long meeting today. So probably won't happen, but maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll be able to give you an update after work where I'm at, and then tomorrow we'll finish it. We'll see what happens. So the fact that this vlog is entirely in my car was 100% unintentional, and honestly I was aiming to not have this happen, but here we are. Hello. I'm here to close this vlog out and to let you know that I did DNF The Long Walk. by Stephen King. Shocker to literally probably no one, considering the first time I read it I only gave it 3 stars, and then I unhauled it, and then I lowered my rating lower than 3 stars. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking was gonna happen. I don't know if I was like, I really don't know, because I genuinely was loving the book in the beginning. Like, I was loving rereading this and enjoying seeing what was going to happen and really getting into the story of the long walk and like really following along and getting in the heads of these characters. And though I still love the beginning of this book, by the end of the book, I just don't care. Like, I hit a point where I'm like, I don't really care about this. I don't care what's happening. I don't care about these characters. I don't care who wins. And it just felt like no one was ever gonna win. I think it just kind of ties back to, it's not that I don't like Stephen King's books, and it's not that I don't like Stephen King. It's that I just didn't like this book. Nothing else really swayed me other than the fact that if this had just been shorter, it would have been fantastic. And that is the most common complaint that I have when I read Stephen King books. It's that if this had just been shorter, I would have loved this book. And I think it's a disservice for me to sit here and be like, this book was awful, whatever, whatever. It's not awful. It's just too long and too repetitive, and it didn't work for me. And I am okay with that. I think that I'm gonna have to start taking each book by King case by case and reading them when I feel like I'm in a place to read them, which I felt like I was in a place to read this book this time. And I felt like the same thing happened. I was still bored by the end of the book. So, I mean, I'm taking that with a grain of salt and just understanding that, I mean, this is gonna happen. This is literally like part of like being a reader and reading things. He's just not the author for me. My eyes are hurting me, so I had to take those off for a minute and put them back on. So sorry for the glare. But King is just, he's just not for me with certain things, and I'm gonna have to learn that it's okay for me to DNF his books and to give up on them, because that doesn't make me, you know, not like him. Just don't like some of his books, and that's literally any author that you read. Like, Brianna Hill has books I don't like. Lilith Vincent, I mean, I've not read a book I don't like from her yet, but there are books that she's written that I have no interest in reading because they just sound creepy to me. Liza James has a book that I wasn't the biggest fan of. So, I mean, it's literally bound to happen whenever you love an author and you read all of their books. So I'm just kind of letting that go and taking this as, I mean, I'm not gonna take it as a loss because I enjoyed the first half of this book, but it's so disappointing that by the end of it I was just bored and didn't care. One other thing I'd like to say, because I really have no other thoughts on this entire situation, one other thing I would like to just put out there and share, because the whole intention of me coming back and doing this and attempting to start this like series of me reading Stephen King books was because I really thought I wanted to do that. And then there is a part of me that still does. So this is me saying this is not a forever thing. This is, what I'm about to say is temporary, but it's indefinite. So for the foreseeable future, I will not be making book content. And when I say book content, I specifically mean I will not be making like reading vlogs or things like that. I still kind of want to do my finding books so you don't have to, and I also still want to do my Kindle videos, like my Kindle updates and like those things, but I just don't think I want to have vlogs be centered around books anymore. It's just, I don't care to like mention here and there that I'm reading a book, or that I bought a book, or here's a bunch of books that I've hauled, because I mean, that's fine. That I don't want dedicated videos to like buying books or things like that. So like that makes sense for me to put in vlogs, but for the time being, I think for mental health reasons and just trying to get back into the swing of everything and get very comfortable on camera, I'm going to be axing the book content in like specifically reading vlogs only, because I was going to try to do only reading vlogs. That's just not working for me. And I don't know. I just don't want to do that anymore. Like, that's the whole reason I got away from BookTube and left BookTube, was so that I could create what I wanted. And I feel like I just keep falling back into creating what I'm used to creating instead of pushing and creating something that is exactly what I want to make. So with that being said, I will not be doing any more reading vlogs for the foreseeable future. That's not saying I won't do them eventually. I will do them eventually. I do want to come back to this series and continue reading Stephen King books. I know that in the future I'm gonna want to come back to the series of videos where I like read books. I'm just not in that place right now, and I'll probably not be in that place for a while. I honestly don't even anticipate in the next 6 months I will be back in that place. So we'll see what happens. So if you're here only for reading vlogs, I'm very, very sorry, because they are not coming back for a while. But I did read a book and I gave you the reading vlog. That's all for today's vlog. I'm very sorry if it's not the news you wanted to hear, but the news I am delivering. Leave me some books in the comments, like little book stack emojis if you are still watching. And I'll be around. I'm still making videos, just not bookish. If you've not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe down below. And if you want more content from me outside of my weekly videos, you can go to my Patreon, where I do post almost every single day. I try to post every single day. I don't always, but that is the goal. You get a lot of extra content though. So I'll see y'all in the next one.
Open my eyes, I slept through the day. Slept through the day, feeling uneasy, I push it away. Push it away. Last night was fun, don't feel like today. Feel like today, let's do it again, let's go on a date. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna take you out.